Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to What Do You Say Anime. I am your host, Peter. On today's episode, myself and my co-host, Miles, will be going over the non-sequels of the upcoming winter 2023 season and giving our thoughts on some of the new properties entering the scene in the coming year. If you are looking for a specific show, timestamps in the description will be provided below. As stated before, I am joined by my lovely soon-to-be buddy daddy himself, Miles. Miles, how are you doing this evening, and what are your initial thoughts on the upcoming season overall?
Yeah, I'm doing well this evening. Thanks for having me. This season seems like a good casual watch season. That's what I've been saying coming, as we approach it. We're
Inside
leaving
jokes!
we're leaving the absolute bangers from fall 2022, and the opening act of 2023 seems to have some calm sort of slice of lifey stuff that we'll be talking about here. Oh, well, with some other stuff that's pretty hype, but I'm excited to talk about it. So
Yeah, man, inside jokes all aside, where I have something set up for what you're going to say afterwards, and then you take it, and now I'm like fumbling the bag. I'm like, what should I do now? Because you took my line that I was going to use, and I
I
knew you
couldn't
would,
help
but you know what?
myself.
Well played. Well played, Miles. Not even mad. That being said, how about we just jump right into our first show? Like, as I said before, non-sequels, because if you are not watching, I mean, like, if you watch Vinland, you're probably watching Vinland. If you watch Tokyo Revengers, you're probably watching Tokyo Revengers. If you're watching Don't Tease Me, Miss Nagatoro, you might not be watching season 2. Who knows? We'll see. But we are going to be watching this show. It is NieR Automata version 1.1a. It is the upcoming adaptation of the NieR video game by Studio A1 Pictures. From what I know, there's no real synopsis of the show. However, thanks to Haz, he told us that it looks like it's going to be an adaptation of some version of the storyline from the video game. I guess there's like 32 different endings in the game, so this is one of maybe 32 endings of NieR. I'm just taking what he said. I don't know if that's true or not. That's just the information I got, but however, NieR looks beautiful. It's done by an incredible studio and maybe waifu of the year immediately with 2B. So, Miles, do you have any initial thoughts on the upcoming NieR anime?
Yeah, so I've been meaning to play NieR for I don't know, when did it come out? Anyways, a long time.
No idea.
But I'm really bad. I'm worse at getting video games out of my backlog than I am at getting anime out of my backlog. And I'm not great at that either. However, this looks beautiful, and the only decision I'll have on whether to watch it or not is do I want to do the game first before I, watch this? So I'll have to talk to some people who've played NieR, figure out how much of a spoiler or whatever they expect this to be, but 2B and I don't know if or B2's in this. I don't know if A2's in it, but there's a bunch of very iconic characters in NieR. Looking at the preview art and the PV, it looks beautiful. A1 always has at the very least good animation. So I think this should be a really fun watch, and if you're a fan of this series, I would suggest watching it. Obviously, that's pretty dumb, but also give it a go if you haven't heard of it or have been thinking about getting into it. Maybe.
Yeah. I mean, we recently watched Licorice. That was really the choreography of the action was insanely well done, and from what I've seen from NieR, the action pace type of storyline that it is may follow a similar vibe, I would say, where we have really good action scenes with the camera work that they did in Licorice. So I'm super excited for that, hoping that they get some similar players from that production onto NieR, because then I think that this will be an absolute hit, no misses at all, because the storyline's already established. It's a franchise that's huge already. I think they just need to pick and choose what direction they want to go with it. And then, yeah, then it's theirs for the taking, I feel like. I'm also interested to see if they'll do more of these style of animes with not necessarily video games, but these pretty large, I guess it would be video games, now that I say that. These franchises that stick out. I guess, well, is NieR, that's a Japanese video game, right?
Yeah, no, it absolutely is.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
so
maybe we'll get a Bayonetta video game or something.
Yeah, I could see
Or
that. I could see like Elden Ring or something, like or getting like a
that
Dark Souls like
well,
anime could be really
yeah.
cool.
I know that Elden Ring got a gag manga, which makes no sense considering what Elden Ring is storyline wise, but the fact that it's getting a manga, but they made it a gag comedy is kind of hilarious. But for me, NieR, I personally think that this is a must watch. I just think like everything behind like how big the franchise is, the studio behind it, and just what other people are saying about NieR, I don't think that this one is like to pass up on.
Yeah, so the only stipulation I'll put on that, and the only reason I'm not must watching it, is because it's a game that I've wanted to play, and I like to do the original thing before I look at like adaptations or whatever. So,
Sure.
I would have to check to see how much of like a spoiler this would be. Would it ruin the experience of the game for me at all? And if so, I'd probably put it on the side, despite how good it looks, and go from there. So I would suggest if
Gotcha.
you're in that mindset, do the same. But if not, watch. It looks great.
Okay, cool. So that's a must watch for me, and then Miles is a go read the source material guy.
You got me.
Yeah.
As I tend to be.
You want to take it away? You want to take it away for our next show?
Yeah, absolutely. So the next show we're going to be talking about is Spy Classroom. Um, so the synopsis is: after a gruesome war wreaked havoc on the general populace, the governments of the world turn to a more elusive tactic to further their agendas: a war fought in the shadows. Lily, a beautiful girl with white locks, is a student in one of the many institutions that train youths into becoming capable spies. And there's some more stuff here. I'm not going to read all 3 paragraphs to you guys, but it basically is a cute girls do subterfuge and spy stuff show. So this is by Studio Feel, but the thing that really drew me to this, Pete, was the
The
aesthetic. I
harem
really
tag.
like the harem tag. Yeah. Um, it was the harem tag. Yeah, so, other than the harem tag, it looks like it has some interesting um, settings. I really like things like Prince's Principle, and it has that sort of aesthetic to it. I'm excited to see what it is. And I will say about the harem tag, looking at the character list, it's a lot of women. So whoever the
Yeah.
guy is, go him.
So I've been running around with my head chopped off for like the last like 2 weeks. So I really haven't been diving into the synopsis of some of these shows, and this is the first time that I heard of this synopsis. I've seen like the PV and I've seen like some of the art, but I never really understood like I never really got into like the story. Why does this have a harem tag? Like I'm a little confused. Like to me, I was expecting going into this thinking Princess Principal, and now this is turning into something else. But like, is it an all girl harem? Is this Yuri? Like, is it or is
So,
this like
yeah.
one dude? Is this Eminence and Shadow? Like, what are we getting here?
Yeah, I think it's closer to Eminence and Shadows. So, like, joined by
Son of a
other
bitch.
problematic female spies, along with a mysterious young man spearheading the operation, Lily
Oh my
realizes that
god.
this is not the ideal escapade she had pictured. So, I'm unsure if the man or Lily is the head of the harem. Um, and, I haven't read the source material.
Spoiler alert, it's the dude.
Do you know?
No, but it's anime.
Fair enough. So that's sort of where I am. We'll find out what happens, but I'm excited to at least give it a watch. And like, this definitely does. It's high on my like potentially trash ratings, but you got to give that a go because that's how you find things like Otome game or whatever.
No, for sure. Yeah, it doesn't check the boxes for me. Absolutely, I'm just a little confused by when anime does this, where you have like a maybe even if it's just like tropey or simple, and then it's like okay, now let's throw in the harem tag. It's just like why, and that's why I feel like it's going to get to, and I don't like that. But I'm gonna give it a shot. Like, yeah, is this a mix between Princess Principal and like Trinity 7, or is this like High School DxD or something like that? I hope not, but I mean I know since it has the tag. But I mean if we get some like decent action like we did with Princess Principal and the characters are fun and like the dynamics between them, I'm sure this will be like a 7.
Yeah, I think that's certainly possible, and I'll give it an 8 because I like the outfits.
All right, that's fair. Okay, I'm gonna put this as like a maybe watch for if you're a fan of like espionage and I guess harems. It's maybe a little bit higher on your list, but for me, this is probably just gonna be in the like. Is if this show is there's like 5 shows on Thursday, this will probably be like the 3rd show I watch.
Yeah, I would definitely put it on like a maybe watch too, but something to keep your like ear to the ground for because I think it does have the potential to be good. So, if it's
Okay,
not your cup of tea, wait a couple episodes, get a feel for the room, and then decide whether to proceed or not.
for sure. Okay, so 2 maybes from us. Next up is a show that Miles cannot wait for. I saw him drooling at the mouth over this show. Tomo-chan is a girl. Tomo and June are the tightest of bros you'd ever seen. They roughhouse and spar, but through thick and thin, they got each other's back. Yet there's just one small problem. Tomo is in love with June. Since she was young, tomboyish Tomo has been just another one of the guys. Due to his extreme muscular brain nature, June doesn't notice any of her advances, not even when she explicitly confesses. To add insult to injury for the longest time, he didn't even realize that she was a girl. Tomo-chan is a girl. Miles, I see you eating those cookies and you're like, oh man, this is so sweet and savory. But he's not even talking about the cookies. He's talking about Tomo-chan as a girl. What are your initial thoughts on this one?
This is a tough one for me. So, I like, in theory, I like the concept, right? Like, tomboy girl, rom-com with like meathead guy. That's neat. I feel like that's not a combo we've seen before, right? You normally get your tomboy girls with like more sensitive-y guys, a la Shikamori is a cutie, right?
Yeah.
So you don't get this sort of combination. On the other hand, the concept of like, oh, she explicitly confesses to him and he misses the thing. It's like the worst part of anime. So I'll have to see how they do that, how tropey they are, how much fun they have with it. We'll have to see.
Couple of things for me that puts the stock up just a little bit higher. It's 13 episodes and the manga is only 8 volumes. So I think there's a good chance they adapt the entire story, which would be a huge plus. Because a lot of times when we see these shows, we get, a 6 or a 4th or a halfway through the story, and then it's like, guess what? Go buy the manga. This one, I feel like we might be able to cut some of the filler and adapt the entire story, so that's a huge plus. That being said, yeah, kind of like you said, like, in theory, this should probably be good, but when I watch, like, the PV, a lot of tropiness, a lot of, like, filler, maybe, for romance, where a lot of, like, the unnecessary stuff is going to be there to draw out the time. But I'm trash, and I like romance, and hopefully, like, the comedy hits. I just don't know how many times they're going to play the joke of, like, oh, I don't see her as a girl. Oh, I didn't know she was a girl. Oh, she's a girl. Oh, she's been a bro my whole life. I feel like you can only play that joke so many times before it gets repetitive. And just on the surface, that feels like it's going to be the main driving force of the comedy. But I could be wrong, and I could be an idiot, and this could be like a comedic masterpiece. Who knows?
Yeah, we'll certainly find out. I think that there's a little bit of wiggle room you can do on that, right? Like you can like take a normal trope, but then have it like he walks in on her changing, but like he doesn't care at all because he just like sees her as like a bro, and then you play that straight or whatever, and then she's like, "How come he's not flustered because I'm in my bra?" And then it's like hilarious, or chuckle worthy. So there's definitely like ways to do it. We'll just have to see how they go about it, I guess. But I'm definitely going to be giving it a watch. I think it's a must watch if you're a rom-com fan.
Ooh, a must watch.
Yeah. We have a couple of rom-coms coming up or romances as their like primary thing, and this is the one that I have the most faith in personally. I don't know about you.
Okay, right on. Okay, for me, I think this is in like the maybe watch. I think for most people, I think if you're a fan of like romance anime, this is probably on your radar already. I know that this has got a decent amount of hype. I've seen it a lot on like Twitter. I'm concerned by like the studio. Like Les Deuce is like a mediocre studio. I'm looking at like what they've done recently, and they did Heroines Run the Show, which was okay, but then they did that horse racing anime, which was just absolute garbage. So I'm skeptical that maybe the source material can push this to like a 7. That's kind of like the vibe I'm getting, but we'll see. I'm a little excited for Tomo-chan as a girl. I just hope it's like funnier than what I think it's going to be. If it's funnier than what I think it's going to be a great time. So fingers crossed.
Okay. So next up, we have a show that I'm very excited for, mostly because the PV art or the art, like, I think is so eye-catching. And this is Sugar Apple Fairy Tale. This is a adventure fantasy romance by JC Staff, and the synopsis is as such. So after her mother passes away, Anne decides to become a silver sugar master, like her mother, a highly regarded occupation in the country of Highland, where a very few masters of the craft exist. Anne leaves for the town of Lewiston, where the royal family holds a sugar sculpture festival. To become a silver sugar master, she has to win the top spot and receive a royal medal. In this world, humans treat fairies as slaves, red flag,
Yep.
and take one of their wings to control them. Anne reluctantly buys a fairy named Shao to be a bodyguard on her way to Lewiston, and is torn between setting Shao free, but needing a bodyguard on the dangerous road to the festival. So to me, this just like a really cool fantasy show. I like the at least initial pretty simple premise. Like, normally you have such world-altering, world-ending, they kill the Demon King, do this. I like the idea of, I want to be really good at sugar sculpting. Like, I think that's resonant and a nice change of pace. The art looks really good. It's nice and shiny, and it just looks like a happy little time. I'm not sure if it will be or not. I don't know a lot about it. But it just looks very pleasant to me. And what are your thoughts on it, Pete?
Yeah. It's funny. We have an ongoing joke where Kageki Shoujo is labeled as a seinen on Mal, the anime, even though it's clearly a shoujo. This one is labeled as a shoujo on Mal, but the ongoing manga is in a seinen magazine. So we'll have another debate about what is this, a shonen or a shoujo. To me, looking at like the art, being very heavy shoujo vibes, I'm gonna definitely lean that way. Adventure fantasy romance, check mark. Big fans of all of those. The main character looks fun. I think that the main male lead is, oh, he's also a fairy. Okay, so I wonder if there's going to be some form of dynamic with like, man, I hate using the word slave to describe something in an anime. Where, I mean, unless I'm shitting on Shield Hero, but this is like, does she do something nice for this fairy and then they become a romantic interest? He's some form of warrior fairy. Yeah, I'll be honest, I'm only basing this off the art. I haven't seen like the PV or anything like that. However, yeah, I mean, it checks all the boxes. JC Staff is a very good anime studio. They're doing this and then the upcoming absolute banger In Another World with My Smartphone season 2. So you know that the hits are coming with JC Staff. Yeah, I mean, yeah, this checks all the boxes for me. I'll give it a shot. I think like it's a light novel, the original source, and it has a decent rating. So yeah, it's checking all the boxes for me for a how do I describe this? It's more than a maybe for me, just because of like everything that it has. But I think for most people, this is probably a maybe. But if you're a fan of Pete and my choices, I think that this is NieR must watch.
Yeah, I would say something similar. I feel like for this season, we need like a, not like a must watch or a maybe, but we need like a definitely try this out.
Yeah.
You know, like, you know, like, don't feel like you need to keep going because we have no idea for a lot of this stuff. But this is one that I'm absolutely going to be checking out. For me, it's a must try out.
Must try out. Okay, I like that term.
So we'll give a go.
Yeah.
You know, so I'll be checking out the first.
I think that's where I'm at. I like that phrase. Yeah. Okay.
So I'll be checking out at least the first 3 episodes or so and seeing how it goes. I guess unless it's a disaster, in which case I will check 1 episode.
We'll try 2 tryouts from the boys.
Yes.
For Sugar Apple Fairy Tale, which is just an incredible title. I love that. You know what's not an incredible title? Our next show. Campfire cooking in another world with my absurd skill. Along with 3 other heroes, 27-year-old Tsuyoshi, hope I pronounced that right, is transported into a fantasy world to rescue a kingdom from a mysterious threat. However, it soon becomes clear that Tsuyoshi has been dragged into the summoning ritual by accident, a shield hero or something like that. His only skill turns out to be the food menu, which allows him to be an open interface where he can purchase and obtain food-related supermarket items from modern Japan. Unceremoniously booted out of the palace, Tsuyoshi sets out on his own to find himself in the new world. However, his ability to create delicious dishes unknown to this world pays dividends, even attracting the legendary wolf NieR. Is that how you pronounce that wolf's name? I'm really bad at words.
Fenrir, I believe.
Fenrir. Fenrir is taken in by the food that the creature immediately forms a contract with Tsuyoshi, becoming his familiar. Followed by the whimsical mystical being, Tsuyoshi takes up a job as a merchant and adventurer, traveling and cooking up mouth-watering meals that never fail to amaze the inhabitants of the world. So, big things about this one. Studio Mappa is at the helm of this one. Little scared because they have 4 studios, and every now and then they're like, it's known that their 4th studio is kind of the in-training studio. So 2 years ago, they did a show called Queen's Choice, which was just a god-awful Mappa adaptation. And this one looks a little cleaner than that one. We both have read some of like Delicious in Dungeon, so we have some like fantasy cooking background stories. Did you read that? Let me ask you if you read that first.
No, Pete.
Okay,
I have not read
bad.
any Delicious.
Well, we did that club for a little bit, and we read a little bit of it. That's my bad. I thought...
Yeah, no, that's
Okay,
that was one that I passed on.
Okay, I have a background in fantasy cooking. There it is, Delicious in Dungeon, which we will be getting an anime this year as well. Yeah, Miles, your thoughts on cooking in another world?
Yeah, so I'm interested in the premise, at least. If you guys watched our 8 for 8 episode, the second one.
Sick plug.
I answered a question about what skill would I have my fantasy world I got Isekai lacking on so that I could use my abilities. And I said cooking. So I'm going to sue these people for copyright infringement. Hopefully make a ton of money.
You definitely came up with that first, yep.
That was definitely me. Originally, they watched the episode, stole it, and animated it in like 4 months or something. But yeah, so I think this is like interesting. I think this is definitely like way more up your alley than mine. I get it's like a little too. It seems like nothing's gonna happen, and I know I just said that I liked low stakes, but to me this seems very no stakes as opposed to low. Which I know some people really like. For me, this is definitely a maybe. What do you think?
I think just with Mappa at the helm, you know how Twitter goes crazy for this shit. I feel like it's pretty close to a must-watch. Adventure, comedy, fantasy, gourmet are the genres. To me, that sounds really fun. Maybe like, I'm assuming it's probably more like slice of life-y, adventure style with this. Yeah, the art looks really pretty. The PV was pretty clean as well. And I mean, how food looks in anime is always a giant plus. So to me, I'm putting this one towards the top. I think this one could have a chance at being like a sleeper for me at least. But we'll just have to wait and see, yeah.
Yeah, no. I think that's fair. I think Mappa doing it is like that's good, right? Like they mostly make good shows. And so I think that's what'll get me to try it out. I could see this being something that I don't mean to drop, but like after 6 episodes or something and life gets a little hectic, I go, oh yeah, I dropped this show and have to finish it like a year from now.
Yeah.
You know, that's sort of how I see it. But I think that there's definitely a lot of people who this will like really be a good show for.
Yeah.
People really like that.
I just noticed that it looks like one of the supporting cast is a very cute slime named Sui. So it's going up in my rankings right now. I love cute slimes as like pets in anime. Okay. They're really fun. Yeah, this one I'll put this one must watch. I think this one is a must watch. At least the first episode is a must watch.
Wow, that's crazy. Okay, yeah. Oh yeah, I mean, I don't know. I expect that from you. I'll definitely put this in like my maybe category. This is probably something that I'll watch the first episode of, then not watch a lot more of, unless you know you and Galaxy or whoever are like, yo, this show is fire. You gotta watch it. I can't believe the the meal they cook in episode 8 is such a banger, you know, and I'll be like, okay.
Oh,
like do it yourself.
Ah.
yeah, that's like you guys will be begging for the camping cookout, do
Mhm.
it yourself crossover, and I'll begrudgingly watch it.
All right, sick. Okay, so must watch for me, like whatever Miles just said for that one. But you know what is a show that is an absolute can't miss, home run, hit it out of the park. There's no flaws in this synopsis that I'm about to read. That is Farming Life in Another World. Having died of sickness at the age of 39, Hiroko is given the opportunity to go to another world. When asked what his wish is by God, intending to give him strength, he requests to have a healthy body. Offered a second wish, he chooses to live peacefully, and a third wish to be able to know the local language, and for a final wish to be a farmer. And if you're thinking, oh, this is a cute slice of life about farming, you thought harem isekai farming. Let's go. Similar to what is currently airing with Beast Tamer, where the guy is able to essentially make contract with beasts, but you know, there are special beasts that are all girls that he forms contracts with, and then boom, we got ourselves a harem. This one, maybe he forms contracts with corn, and then the corn turns into a woman, and then they have babies. I don't know. Miles.
Maybe that does happen.
Yeah, maybe. Who knows? It's an isekai. Who knows what a harem farming show can turn into? What's your give me your initial thoughts on Farming Life in Another World?
I accidentally pointed this out to Pete.
You
I was
did.
going through these seasonals, and I was like, Farming Life in Another World? That sounds like something Pete would enjoy. He likes shows about nothing. And I sent it to him, and by God, it has the harem theme. I'm not going to call this a must-watch. What I'm going to say is I'm going to be checking it out, at least for a few episodes, if only to see how this dynamic works. And, like, does he just have these wives? Does he accumulate them? I'm genuinely curious about these things. I want to see how they set up this situation. And if I end up liking the characters, Tia seems great, I guess.
What about the also unique character Rhea?
Yes, yeah, that's it's a regular Shion and Mion for my Higurashi fans out there. So they don't even have last names. We'll see how it goes. But I'm not going to be must watching this, but I am going to be watching out of curiosity on how it'll be set up. Can't promise I'll watch the whole thing though.
Yeah, I think this is one of those shows where I'm going to get the local elementary schools together and do a watch party, and we're going to sit down and watch Farming Life in Another World, because, you know, for the kids. And no, this show, I mean, everything on this just screams like mediocrity at its finest. That being said, I will watch every single episode of this show, because you know why? Because I am trash. Good things about this show. Yeah, Tia looks nice. Yeah. And it's being done by Studio Zero G. The last good show they did was My Roommate is a Cat. So that was like 4 years ago. So yeah, a lot of, I mean, no red flags at all. This just screams incredible design, unique story, beautiful women. I mean, maybe sex with corn. Who knows?
Do you think that the show will have slaves in it?
I hope not, but man, if this show does not have slaves, though, I will give it a point higher than what I will originally give.
Okay, we have it on the books.
If it does have slaves, I'm leaning like a light 3 on this one.
Ooh, okay, you have a little. I'm thinking this is like a 4. So
wow. Yeah, I'm thinking this is like a 5 without slaves, a 3 with slaves.
Okay. So you're on the 4, but the slavery really.
I really want to make it clear, I am anti-slavery.
Okay, so brave.
Yes, hot take, but when it's done right, which is almost never done right, it's okay. Most of the time in anime, it's done very poorly. and I hate it. So yeah, I'm really thinking farming life in another, just based off the dude. Okay, like his wishes are he wants a healthy body, live peacefully, know the language, and be a farmer. Everything other than the farmer thing screams out pretty anti-slavery. Also, I don't know if farmers live in like nowhere land. How do you get a harem?
We will find out.
Yeah.
Maybe by buying them.
God damn it! When you're
You'll
right,
notice
you're right.
2 of them don't have last names. That's concerning.
Please don't.
So
please don't name them. You know, like how they would like come to him and like they don't have a name. Like, can you name us? And then,
yeah,
oh my god, don't do that.
I kind of hope it happens now.
God damn it, Miles.
Okay, sorry. I'll take us into our next show.
Yeah. So, absolute must watch for me, by the way.
Yeah, both of us.
Yeah.
2 must watches for farming life in another world. We'll now be talking about Endo and Kobayashi Live, the latest on Tsundere Villainess Lieselotte. This is something that I prevented Pete from cutting because I think it seems awesome. So, this is a comedy fantasy romance. On the outside, Otome Villainess Lieselotte seems foul in every way, a purely evil character. However, as revealed in her diary, she was always hiding both her pain and her true feelings towards Prince Sigurd. While she keeps us locked away, an evil witch ultimately possesses her, leading to her demise, a tragic end for the Tsundere Villainess. This is how the story always goes, an end coded into the game, Magi Koi. Broadcasting club members Ato, Endo, and Shihono Kobayashi decide to play this game. In another universe, Prince Sigurd hears their voices, believing it to be divine revelation from a god and goddess. These voices clue him into something he's never noticed before. Lieselotte is actually overwhelmingly adorable. There are no resets in this game, and just one chance to change the future for the ill-fated villainess. In years to come, these 2 entities who would guide the country to prosperity and greatness would be known as play-by-play, Endo and color commentator Kobayashi.
That's fun.
I think it's a lot of fun. I think it's a pretty fresh take on this villainous thing, which has been skyrocketing in popularity recently. As I told Pete, Lieselotte here looks like the villainess in every villainous show, and I'm here for it. Literally have not been sick of it once. But I really like the gimmick of this. I think it's super fun to have people like yelling at a visual novel and influencing it in some way. Pete, what are your thoughts?
Yep, kind of like what Miles said, not really sick of the villainous trope yet. I think we're getting there, just because like the original, the OG villainous anime was really good, and then season 2 kind of was like whatever. The currently airing season of the villainous is, it's not even bad. It's just, it's Chainsaw Man pacing speed, which is unfortunate for a series like that. But I would actually rather like those stories be too fast than too slow, especially when there's romance involved with it. This one, like you said, the color commentary things, I think this could be a very fun show. I can see why, like, its mouse score on like it's like almost like a 7.3. I think this is the type of show where the voice acting could add so much more level and depth to this style of story, where I'm just the concept is just so good. Like, I don't know if we ever had like a show like this before. And I do wish that some of the character designs were a little different, but just the look of it, the feel of it, the synopsis, man, I don't think it's must watch, but I think it's pretty close for me. I just love that concept on paper. I hope it's not like the Endless 8 where like on paper that sounds amazing and then I watch it and I want to gouge my eyes out. I don't think it's gonna be this bad, but just everything I see from it is just like hell yeah.
I kind of hope this is like the Endless 8, where on paper it seems awesome, and then I watch it and give the season a 10. So, yeah, I'm going to try to talk you up. I think that these characters, looking as tropey as they are, is actually pretty good and can lead into the comedy.
It's probably, yeah, for sure, it's part of it. Yeah.
Yeah, because we have that color commentary. Like, I'm the type of person where if something annoying happens, I'm like, oh my god, this overdone trope. But then if the show lampshades it, if it points it out, I'm like, high art, amazing.
Peak.
So there's there's like a lot of room for that where they do lazy stuff and then go, look at how lazy we're being, and then I'm just like, so good, even though it's not really any different at all. You know, but this is my taste. I'm excited to watch this. I like these villainous characters a lot. It's like, you know, my number one waifu of all time is Seto Kaiba. So, you know, that sort of attitude has always been up there, and the villainesses tend to have that sort of thing.
Well,
so.
they're for sure, like, super rich.
Yes.
Probably evil, like...
At least a little evil.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the D&D chart of, like, the most, like, passive evil thing? What's that?
So there's
like lawful
evil.
They're lawful evil.
They're lawful evil, which is way better than chaotic evil.
Yeah, for sure.
Internet.
Yeah, so Kaiba's lawful evil. He doesn't. Yeah. I don't know. I'm just talking shit, but I'm talking on my ass.
He took a weapons company and made it make card games, so he might just be a good guy.
Damn. I'm changing my perspective on Seto Kaiba now.
Look at that. What did Yugi do for the world, huh?
Yeah. Bum. Yeah, he'd be shit. Okay, yeah, but back to this show. If the comedy hits, the show is going to be a banger. If it misses, it's probably going to be a dud. So I'm hoping more Otome game-esque level of comedy where they can, like, make, like you said, poke fun at themselves and just go with the flow. And if that's the case, then this is going to be... What was the term we used before? Consider must watch or something?
Yeah, it's like, for sure we'll check out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is for sure check out in my book.
Yeah. Mine too. I think, you know, this has like a very high ceiling and a low floor where if Kobayashi and Endo are not funny, the show is going to be awful.
Mm-hmm.
And if they are, it can really pick up anything else in the show, right? Like it's like MST3K. Like if those people aren't funny, then it's bad, but since they are funny, it's good. Sort of deal.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, absolutely. Let's move on to our next show. It is Trigun Stampede. Big things about this one that the controversy is going around with. It appears to be a prequel to the original. Not confirmed yet, but I think that's more than likely the case. I saw people getting upset that Millie from the OG series is not included in this, and I think that's a lot of people's favorite characters other than Vash. I made Miles watch the PV because this is being done by Studio Orange, which is the best CG, like, only anime studio right now going. And he didn't tell me his thoughts yet on it. So, Miles, I want to get your thoughts on not only Trigun, but the PV that you watched.
Yeah, so I don't know anything about Trigun.
Same.
So what I need to do before I decide how I'm going to watch this is make sure that I can watch this before consuming Trigun. But if I can, I think that I will. Now, as to the CG, watch the PV, and we'll have to see how it looks when they actually get to, like, the fully processed stuff. Some of it looks awesome. Like, really cool stuff that you could only do with CG as far as, like, perspectives and stuff go, and then some of it is so... CG. That's how I felt. It was just like some of the action shots were like really good, but then when people were just hanging out, it was like it took me out of it a bit. And that, I don't know what your thoughts were, but like I don't think it's going to be something where CG ruins it for me, but I don't think it's something where I'm like, oh, good use of CG. It's going to be something where I'm like, this is fine, but I wish they had done this in 2D.
Yeah. So Studio Orange did like Beastars and Land of the Illustrious, where I think a lot of times like the movements, I'm gonna do specifically Land of the Illustrious because to me that's one of the best like CG anime made. How they handled like all the movements and the action scenes, I think are fantastic. So are we going to get incredible movements and actions in that type of sequencing and visuals? Then to me that this is going to be like a really fun thing. But like you said, at some points it's kind of bad. Where yes. I'm a little not into it as much as I thought I was going to. So I think it's all going to depend on the amount of movement and stuff that we get from this series than them just standing around and talking. Because then, I don't know, I just get like OG Ruby vibes and stuff like that, where it's just like, man, what year was this made? Like, was this made in 1999 or 2019 or 2029? Like, I can't tell right now. But like,
Some of it is like, yeah, you're right. It's like OG Ruby vibes, but also the top range was like, this looks awesome.
Yeah.
So, you know.
Yeah. So give me cool fights. Give me cool. I think they mess around with like, I don't want to say robots, but in like the PV picture, it looks like they're like flying on like a reindeer or something like that. So if you give me like cool sequence like that, then I'm all for it. That's what I'm looking for. Like maybe more of like an adventure style commentary than a, hey, let's talk. But the thing is, me and you are similar. I have no Trigun experience. All I know is I know who Vash is, because Vash is a pretty iconic character just in general. And I know people like OG Trigun. So this is my first introduction to Trigun. It's probably not the right thing to consume first. I'm assuming most people would probably say watch OG Trigun. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm a person of my time, which is current. So I will be watching Trigun Stampede first, and if I like it, then I might dive into the OG Trigun, just because, you know, Madhouse does it and it's my favorite studio. And it's got a pretty good rating, and my wrestling co-host Lynn, it's his favorite anime of all time, so it checks a lot of boxes where I will probably eventually check out Trigun. Hey, shit, it's 2 core. Maybe I'll nominate it for Watch
The
Club.
upcoming 2 core.
Yeah, maybe. So
That's
yeah,
a good choice.
I'm gonna put this under. For me, it's a must-watch just because I love Studio Orange. Their last like 3 or 4 works have been, minus the Godzilla one, but that was a collaboration, and I don't count that as just Studio Orange. Their last like 3 or 4 shows have been knockouts for me, so it's a must-watch for me.
Okay, that sounds good. For me, yeah, I think it's probably a must-watch too, just because of like the culture. You know, do it for the culture. You know, so sort of like how Chainsaw Man was a must-watch for me, even though I knew going in I wouldn't like it.
Yeah.
This is not quite that. There's definitely a chance that I'd like it, but I think that the primary reason to watch this is like doing it for the culture.
Yeah.
So,
all right,
that's
so
the plan.
2 must-watches for Trigun.
Yeah. So next we have Kaina of the Great Snow Sea. A world blanketed in an endless and ever-growing ocean of snow. The people eke out a living, either huddled around the roots of enormous trees dotting the surface, or high in the canopy, which spreads over the planet's atmosphere. A chance meeting between Kaina, a youth from the canopy, and Lilia, a young woman from the surface, sets off a chain of events that will change the fate of the world. This is a fantasy from Studio Polygon Pictures.
Yep. Back-to-back CG studios.
Yeah, and if you're wondering what Polygon Pictures has done, they've done a Jin.
Knights of Sidonia.
Oh, they did Knights of Sidonia? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yep. Okay, right there. And that is
Pengu in the
they
City.
Did do, yeah, they did
Pengu
in the City.
Is kind of a meme, but also at the same time, I liked what I watched of Pengu in the City, so take that for what it is.
Hey, did they collab on that Godzilla anime with Orange?
No, that was Bones. I think?
This is okay. So they did a different Godzilla anime. So that's fun.
Wait, they did?
Yeah, they did. They did Godzilla, one Kaiju Wakusei, Godzilla, Planet of the Monsters,
okay.
which is a different CG Godzilla anime, I suppose.
Yep.
Okay, so this, like the world building in this seems really cool. That's what makes me interested in it. It seems like it might have some like romance, which is nice. It's not tag romance, but I bet it's in there.
Yeah.
But for me, this is like, okay, you got me, you hooked me. You got this interesting world you're saying, now let's see what you can do with it. And that's what I'm going to be looking at. What about you?
Just based off of the PV, I'm getting To Your Eternity vibes. This adventure of whatever that they're going on. Yeah, I guess changing the fates of the world is the adventure that they're going on. So, some big ass adventure with people. Yeah, it's hard to say because I don't have that much information on it. I think people are going to be turned off by the CG, where this isn't Orange. Polygon is not the same level as Orange. This is like the B version of CG anime. So I bet a lot of people are going to be turned off. It wouldn't surprise me if there's a lot of bad animation in this, because from my experience with Polygon Pictures, they put a lot of their budgets in like 4 minutes of the show, and then the other 19 minutes look like really bad. So I'm kind of getting those vibes, but I like adventure. I'm intrigued by like these pairings that's going on this adventure. If there's romance, huge plus. But the character designs look nice, and I don't know. There's kind of like a mystery behind it too, where I don't know as much going into it that intrigues me. So that being said, like the fantasy, the possible mystery adventure, I'm gonna put this in like maybe, yeah, maybe. I'm gonna go with maybe on this one.
I'm more of like a definitely check it out, unless you like know you hate CG. Like I get that if you just like can't stomach it, because like it definitely takes me out on some shows. And normally I can like fight through. Like I love Blue Lock, but like there are scenes in Blue Lock where they're like, I don't want to animate 11 people running on a field at the same time, and they just like and you're like, okay, and then it'll go to some like crazy Sakuga moment. And I'm like, yeah, it was worth it. This is obviously not going to have that, but I'm just interested enough in the world. The environments that they did in CG look really pretty. The people look like they're from Ruby. So, it's hit or miss. I'm definitely going to be checking it out, and I hope it's good, but it also, it could be something that is just not. So
Yeah.
we'll have to find out.
I really wish you watched 2 Year Eternity so you could let me like that
I'll
vibe to this.
I'll check it out. I'll check it out.
2 Year Eternity is so good. Not season 2, but season 1's incredible.
That'll like rock my baby to sleep to. At, like,
Hey,
3 a.m.
that's really sad. Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Well, I don't know what's up. I haven't seen it. So.
It's really sad. Spoiler
okay,
alert.
Well,
2 Year Eternity is very sad.
My sobbing will be the motion.
Yeah, maybe your baby will call you.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's a maybe for me. I think Miles is a little bit higher than I am on. But one show that I think this is my most look forward to non-sequel show for next year.
What?
Yes. I cannot wait.
Okay.
The Ice
That's
Guy
crazy.
and his cool female colleague. Himuro is an office worker who belongs to a race of supernatural beings with strange powers. Whenever he is deep in concentration, he subconsciously plunges into his poor co-workers into a close rendition of the Arctic. Even so, contrary to his icy powers, Himuro is a warm and kind person. He likes flowers and cats, but alas, he cannot get too close to either. Himuro has a soft spot for his colleague, I'm not going to pronounce that name, a calm woman who has a knack of providing simple solutions to his...
Fuyusuki.
There you go. Has a knack for providing simple solutions to his unconventional problems. Whenever Fuyusuki does something for him, a snowstorm of emotions builds inside of Himuru's heart, and he fails to notice the raging snowstorm he causes on the office floor. Thanks to his snowy tantrums, Himuru's feelings are apparent to everybody but Fuyusuki. However, fueled by immense adoration and desire, Himuro is prepared to do whatever it takes to capture her heart. 2 things. 1, I love like supernatural things in the real world. Interviews with Monster Girls is a fantastic series that handles something similar to this, but in like high school. Office romance, adults, consenting adults, fun atmosphere, really cool designs. Everything about this checks boxes for me. I cannot wait. This was a manga I was planning on reading, and then when it got announced that it was getting an anime, I'm just like, I'm just gonna wait for the anime, and then when the anime's done, I'm probably going to read all of it. Miles, your thoughts on the masterpiece that is the Ice Guy and his cool female colleague?
Okay, so a few things to say. 1, I had only ever heard the title of this. I didn't realize it was like about like a literal Elsa guy.
Yeah.
Like I thought he was just like cold, like in demeanor. So I have to reevaluate that. I don't know if I like that or not, but I will have to. 2,
you are forced to like this.
I don't know. I mean, I'm definitely gonna give it a try because I want one of these office romances to not be fucking garbage. But I end up like not liking them most of the time, and then Pete gets really disappointed in me.
Yeah, if you want to know what Miles is talking about, go check out our Wotakoi review.
Well, adults is the
Wink.
yeah. It's they're high school kids, but we just pretend they're adults.
Yes.
So which fair. Like me too. But yeah, so knowing that is there a cat girl in this?
There are no, there's no cat girls. There are cats involved.
So
I'd
are
say
you sure there are no cat girls?
like literal cat girls?
Look at the
I mean, if
purple-haired
there is,
girl.
this show is just give it a 10 already. Like, it's over.
Okay. Well, yeah, it definitely looks like there is a cat girl.
Which character?
The purple-haired girl.
What's her name?
Oh, look at the art, like the main art.
Oh, okay.
With the of them like walking on the boardwalk.
Okay, I mean, if there's cat girls, just throw away the rest of the season. This is anime of the year. Sorry, not even the season. The rest of the entire year. Toss it in the trash. This is the winner.
If there's a cat girl, I'm gonna hold you to this. I'm gonna make you have this be your top rated show, anime of the year, 100%.
Good quote me till I die.
Yeah. Oh, there's more than one cat girl, I think. That's crazy.
Let's go!
Oh, no, those are just buns that look like cat girls. Okay. However, I really don't know what to say. This is such a bizarre concept. I'm excited to see how they use powers. This is a comedy, right? So it'll be if I think it's funny or not. That's what'll be the saving grace for it. But I'll give it a go just for you, pal.
Thanks, I appreciate that. A couple things. I love Fuyusuki's outfits that they have in the PVs. I'm a big fan when they don't wear the same clothes every single episode. Also, Fuyusuki has a cat named Tibbles. That's a great cat name.
That's a very good cat name.
Huge plus for the Tibbles name. And now that Miles mentioned it, the possibility of 2 cat girls in one anime that's not Monster Musume or something like that, that's 2 thumbs up, my man. This is an absolute must watch for me.
You should check out Nekopara, dude. I think you'd love it.
I dropped that after 1 episode.
Unsurprising.
Yeah, Chalk Vanilla is 1 year old and she's a slave. Speaking of bringing up slaves again, man, what is with our podcast?
It's about anime.
It is about anime. Why does slavery get brought up a lot? Maybe this medium is problematic. Maybe I need to look in the mirror and reevaluate a lot of things going on in my life.
Nope, go back to watching every seasonal.
Cat girls, let's go. Okay, so must watch. What was yours?
Must watch for Pete. That's what I'm gonna. It's my new category. Or will watch for Pete is the category.
Okay.
So.
All right, so that is all of our originals, and I know I said I wasn't going to be talking about sequels, but I got you. Guess what we talking about, baby? The top sequel of this entire year. I've been waiting so long for this show. Bofuri. I don't want to get hurt, so I max up my defense. I hate being in pain, so I think I'll make a full defense build. Is that the entire title? It's not even half of it. This show is pure gas. Maple.
What's the full title of Bofuri?
It's something like that. I'm also memeing a little bit.
Oh, okay. I didn't know.
Maple and Sally are back to ride giant turtles and cast acid rain on poor, unsuspecting victims. Where you think that this is a cute girls doing cute virtual reality things, wrong. Maple is a serial murderer who will eat you. This show is peak fiction. I cannot wait for the 2nd season. I'm a little exaggerating, but I really wanted to talk about this show because I love Bofuri. I think I've watched it like 3 times. And I also just want to hear Miles' thoughts on Bofuri because I haven't really heard him talk much other than he says like maple and syrup or something. I don't know. Miles, say something about this before I
okay, so I'm gonna have to like speed run through Bofuri season 1, I guess, because
it has a dub.
I missed the Bofuri hype train. And then like this week, everyone's been like Bofuri, and I was like, fine, guys. Oh my god, okay. I'll do it.
It's funny because people think like me and Haz are like memeing, but we love this show.
Yeah, so I'll give it a go. If it has a dub, it's something that I can just do pretty easily once we get through Secret Santa season. And, I guess it's good that there's a season 2 for it. I mean, people are so excited for it. I haven't watched season 1, so I can't comment too much. But like people are legitimately excited, and that's good.
Yeah, no, for sure. Okay, I just want to give a shout out for that. Don't want to get too much into it. That being said, this does wrap up our winter preview. Miles, were there any other shows that we didn't talk about that you want to give a shout out to?
Yeah, watch Buddy Daddies. I have no idea what it's about. It looks like it's like two Yakuza and or cops do parental care together. So I had it on our list because it's a Pete show and a half, and then he cut it like the absolute savage he is. But he's going to watch it. He's going to give it a 10. I hope there's a cat girl in it.
I hope there's a cat girl in it too. That would be so much fun. Is there any other shows other than Buddy Daddies?
I don't think so. Oh no, Mononogatari
Yep.
is another. It's a supernatural show that I'm definitely going to be checking out. And I think that's it for originals for me.
Yeah, Miles doesn't want to say it, but I'll say it for him. He's also really looking forward to My Life as Inaki's Dog. Yeah, he's really looking.
How could I have forgotten? I'm caught up on the manga. I am the author.
I knew it.
Yeah, knew it. I can't wait for that show.
The Miles backward author. I was like, I know it's him. You think you're clever with that tag, but I know it's you.
Yeah, the author's name is Selim. Selim.
I knew it. Those are the only two?
Yeah, those are the only two other than any sequels or anything. Unless, am I missing something? Am I just being dense? No? Okay, yeah, those are the other two.
Well, I have a longer list, so I just wanted to...
Unsurprising.
Yeah, no surprise to anybody. Other shows I'll be checking out, all the major sequels, Tokyo Revengers, Vinland Saga, Misfit Demon King Academy, Don't Toy With Me Nagatoro, which I do have volume 13 right here, which is a very problematic cover. I know that now after holding it up. Probably should have done that, but whatever. We'll be watching that along with Fruit of Evolution Season 2, which is is a awful anime, but I love it. So I'm really looking forward to that. Kubo Won't Let Me Be Invisible. That's a Shonen Jump property that kind of has some hype around it. I'm going to check it out. I heard it's cute. Very like Takagi-esque. Maybe not Uzaki-chan, but like that style of like teasing your classmate type of thing. Other than that, I don't think there's any like huge show. Oh, the 30-year-old Isekai. Chilling in my 30s after getting fired from the Demon King's army. I'm gonna check that out just because of its title. The art looks horrendous and the premise looks really bad, but the title is super fun, so I'm gonna give that a go. So those are... I'll probably be watching 22 seasonals this one. Overall, though, pretty... I'll say average to weak season overall. I think top-heavy... Like, we really only have, like, Farming in Another World and Ice Guy. Those are going to be, like, the two major players. Vinland Saga is probably going to be, like, a 6, you know. We're honestly, this is, like, a waiting period until April. April is going to be an insane season of anime. Where it's, like, the current levels of that's how good it is. This one, it's actually nice. I can chill and relax for a little bit and just watch, like, a couple fun shows, so. Miles, thank you for joining me.
Of course. Anytime.
Do you have any parting words to our lovely listeners before we head out?
No.
All right. Cool.
Watch the seasonals we talked about, and then join our Discord and talk about them.
Yeah. If you want to tell us what you're watching, leave a comment below if you're watching us on YouTube. Otherwise, the link tree in our description, you can join our Discord and talk anime. Other than that, this is where we are signing off. If you want to support us, best way to do so, like, comment, subscribe, leave a review on whatever platform you are watching and or listening to us on. Next week, we will be reviewing Rosario Vampires Season 2 for Watch Club. There are 3 people super hyped for this. So if you are one of those 3 people, I'm looking forward to hearing your thoughts on our review. Otherwise, if you're looking for seasonal content or whatever, we will be doing our review of the currently airing season in 2 weeks, so look forward to that. I want to say thank you so much for listening, and we will see you next time.
Bye-bye.